This is the MGC 4x4. Wait, no, this is the wrong one. This is the MGC 4x4. And this cube out of the box is pretty good. It does have some minor catching and it is really fast. I'm gonna try and fix the catching, and it also does feel pretty blocky. To start, take the cube apart, turn the layer 45 degrees and pull out one of the pieces. There we go. And just pull apart the rest of the cube. Now the cube is fully apart and we are basically left with a bunch of annoying little pieces such as these. Let's just use a towel or whatever you really want. You could even use water to clean this. Just make sure if you're using water, don't get it on the metal. I don't really have to explain that. I just don't do it. Cleaning the cube is only just to get off any dirt that's on the piece, and don't worry about trying to get off the lube because we're adding more lube anyways. And if you try and take off the lube right now, like there's literally no point because it's just gonna break in. And I guess if you want the most control over your cube, then you could try and get off the lube, but it's not really necessary. You also want to pay the most attention to the core because the core builds up a lot of dirt and even some hairs could get into the core. So if that happens, then just take it apart. We're going to take apart the core anyway to lube it, but you could take it apart right now just to clean it out. Okay, now the pieces are clean from any dirt. And again, I said the lube doesn't matter because you're gonna add lube anyways. So what we're gonna do now is just take apart the cube or the core and just roughly spread apart the things just so you know like what the tension kind of is. So it's like kind of like that. You can't really see it. So like that. Just so you know like what the stock tension is, because the stock tension just like a little bit looser than that is probably the best tension. The core has been taken apart and this is weight 6 from Speedcube Shop, and this is what we'll be using for the entire setup. The reason that I'm only using weight 6 is because this cube is very fast and I don't have any slow lubes for it. So this is technically the slowest lube that I have. It's very versatile where I can lube it to be slower, but with the other lubes, they just make it faster. So there's no point of adding them. So just take the screw and the spring and just put a like tiny little bit. The camera just really doesn't want to focus. There we go. We're just putting some on the screw head and on the spring. That's probably good enough. We can just put it back in the core. Also on 4x4s, it could get a little bit confusing. Not really to put the thing back in. So it's like this, and then you put it back in here and then in the core. We just put it here and then we could just start screwing it back in. All right, so now I've put the core back together and it's all lube and stuff. So now I'm going to assemble the cube. I already have an assembly tutorial and actually a setup tutorial for 4x4, but this setup is specifically for the MGC. If you want to see the setup for just any 4x4, then you can just go check out that video. It works pretty well with a lot of 4x4s. I don't actually have any other 4x4s, so I don't know. The way that it's set up is just very versatile and you can pick and choose what you want to add and whatever. But just an assembly tip that I probably didn't mention in my setup video for 4x4. Make sure that you assemble with the white corners facing down and the yellow corners facing the other way. That way the cube is actually solvable. All right, now the cube is fully assembled and we need to lube the pieces now. To lube the pieces, I usually just take out one of these pieces and make sure that you're getting it here and here because you know, there's like more layers on a 4x4, obviously. Basically, we just want to use weight 6 and we want to lube the entire piece. Just focus more on these pieces. So put more lube on the outer of the piece. So like here on this flat end, and then just a little bit here, not too much. Put pretty much most of it here and do that on the other side and put the piece back in. So now we put the piece back in. Now just do turns and you should feel it get a lot slower. And that's normal. It doesn't feel right now. It just needs to spread around the cube and it'll start feeling normal. Okay, so now we fully lubed the cube and now we need to tension it. So as you can see, in a lot of places, it's very loose and we need to make all of them the same tension. So this cube usually should be able to cut just under 45. And this feels like it's about to pop if I go more aggressive on that corner cut. This, I think it can, yeah, see, it should just be able to cut just under 45. It shouldn't be able to do this. So this is actually too loose on this side. So what we're gonna do is just tighten it a little bit. And now let's just check. See, it can't cut 45 now. It also can't cut under 45. So that means this is too tight now. So just loosen it just a little bit and then check. Yeah, still no. So just loosen it. There, it's starting to be able to corner cut. It still needs to think a little bit more, but that's basically the way that you would do it. And just do that with all the sides and you'll be good. All right, so after tensioning it and doing all the setup, this is what it sounds like. Feels pretty good. and it feels much slower. It still feels fast because this is a fast cube and there's not really a way to get around that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and sub, and also bye.